Moving now from China to Russia, which has made plenty of headlines in recent weeks, too many if you're asking me, not least for casually threatening to use nuclear weapons in their war with Ukraine. The news sparked for millions an anxiety that recalls those 13 days, 60 years ago, when we came the closest we ever have to an all-out nuclear war, the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Within the past week, unmistakable evidence has established the fact that a series of offensive missile sites is now in preparation on that imprisoned island.
The crisis came to a head between the United States and the Soviet Union as Moscow threatened to park nuclear missiles 90 miles from Florida, and a Cold War nearly became a very hot one over 13 long and dangerous days.
Crisis. The word suddenly springs alive.
The most dangerous day of the crisis was October 27th, 1962. We knew it as Black Saturday. An American spy plane was shot down over Cuba by a Soviet missile. It was a strike that Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev never actually authorized. But of course, Kennedy and the White House didn't know that at the time. Assistant Secretary of Defense Paul Nitze said what many were thinking. They fired the first shot. Things looked so dire that at one point when Jackie Kennedy learned that the Soviets were installing missiles in Cuba aimed at American cities, she begged her husband not to send her away. Here she is in 1964, 2 years later.
And I said, even if there's not room in the bomb shelter in the White House, which I'd seen, I said, please, then I just want to be on the lawn when it happens. No, but I just want to be with you, and I want to die with you, and the children do too, and live without you.
Just before that spy plane was shot down, Khrushchev himself wrote Kennedy an emotional message. I can see, Mr. President, that you are not without a sense of anxiety for the fate of the world. We must not succumb to lightheadedness and petty passion. Should war indeed break out, it would not be in our power to contain or stop it, for such is the logic of war. Despite the spy plane incident, Kennedy and the White House were still searching for a diplomatic solution, and after a secret meeting with the Soviet ambassador, the two sides backed down.
Progress is now being made towards the restoration of peace in the Caribbean, and it is our firm hope and purpose that this progress shall go forward.
At the end of the day, or 13 days I should say, a shared sense of humanity between two world leaders prevented the worst from coming to pass. 60 years later, if similarly tested, would Moscow and Washington be able to do the same? I'm not sure. Let's hope we don't find out.